Hey guys, look, I got this cool new lapel mic. Hello everybody. Hi. This is an unexpected live. I needed to go live though because it's been a while. And I got a new lapel mic. Hello. I wonder if this is working. Look how fancy I am. Also, I just had an amazing acupuncture session with Eileen DePaula from Root and Branch Medicine Acupuncture in Hopkinton, Mass. So, yeah, I'm feeling very chill. I'm feeling in the flow. So I thought, hey, let's go live and talk about Reiki symbols, shall we? So, yeah, so I put in the description of this video Reiki symbols. You can use them without being trained in the system of Reiki. And you know what? It shocked the hell out of me that I even said that, because the purest Jenny, about, I would even say 6 months ago, would have never said that. But boy, has the world been shifting and transforming, and you know, so have I. And I have come to realize that a lot of the old paradigms are falling away. Paradigms that were like sort of, I'm going to call them paywalls, like pay to play. Like, oh, I need to be trained in that before I feel qualified to actually do that. Now, there are some things that you should be trained in before you go for it. One of them is probably practicing medicine, right? And you can even be jailed if you don't have a proper license. But there are some things like the wisdom of the earth and the land and energy, Reiki energy, all around us, because Reiki means Rei, Ki means universal, means Rei means universal, and Ki means universal life force energy. So you don't need a license to be able to operate energy. And the same goes for, you don't need to be trained in a system in order to be able to use symbols. And like I said, about 6 months ago, if you caught me then, I would have been singing a different tune. But that's the beautiful thing about human beings. We're allowed to change our minds. And with new information, we're allowed to have a different perception. And so I am going to act upon that. And, I'm going to show you these symbols, right? These are the level 2 symbols. Well, anyway, I know that they're all different depending on who was your teacher. But these are the symbols that I learned when I took level 2 Reiki, right? You got the Chokure. No, sorry. It's like the mirror image. I don't know where my fingers are. This is Chokure, Seiheki, Hanshaze Shonen. Sidebar, a lot of students have real anxiety over this one because look at the Japanese kanji. There's a lot of strokes that are involved in drawing that. I'm not trying to say, oh my God, Hanshaze Shonen gives me anxiety. What I'm trying to say is that these Reiki symbols, they have a meaning to them, and that's what makes them powerful, right? The meaning that we give to them, the empowerment that comes from your intention, that's what activates these babies. So I'm here to say that you're able to use those as much or as little as you want to, or not at all. You can also exercise that right to not use those symbols. And there's so many reasons, I could make a solid case for why it would be important to use these symbols, that it brings non-ordinary reality into your everyday life. into ordinary reality. It's a way to make every moment seem a little bit more magical. For instance, the Choku-rei symbol empowers things, right? Just by the sheer nature of this symbol, the Choku-rei symbol, I mean, if you even just look at it, look at that vortex of energy. And that also, like, building a personal connection with symbols make them more powerful for you. So if you're able to look at this symbol and sort of tailor it to something that you relate to, it'll make it more powerful for you. And everybody that looks at this might have a different idea of what it means to them or what they see when they look at the symbol. When I look at this symbol, I see a vortex of energy. I see a vacuum. And I feel like that vacuum has a two-way street. So it goes out and it comes in. So it can, bring things into it, and it can empower. It can go outward with the energy. Even maybe like a spider web or a vacuum. So when you draw this symbol in a session, because that's how people are using it in the system of Reiki, and then you can take it outside to do other things. This is all about empowering your intention. So people would draw this symbol on the bottoms of people's feet to sort of seal in the practice, seal in the energy, seal in the intention of what had happened in that session. Sometimes people will take it out into everyday life and empower their food before they eat it. I knew a guy who, ate a junky food that had high fructose corn syrup, and he knew it. He was at a party. He's like, yeah, I know I'm going to eat this junky food. But he drew the Choku-rei over it, and he empowered his food, and then he ate it. And it was just one way to empower the food and make it, have it feel and fill his body with wholesomeness, with the energy of, like saying, it is so. I'm going to seal in the goodness of this food. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can use that symbol, and I think they're very personal. And the more that you build a relationship with these symbols, the more you're able to use them in your life. Because I know some symbols I don't even really use. I learned, and I don't have a personal relationship with them. But you know what's funny? I don't close the door on that, because I don't just say, okay, I don't use that symbol, one and done, and I'll never look at it again. Because sure enough, if I keep the door open, I may actually build a relationship with that symbol, and it was completely unexpected. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to come on here and say the days of having to feel qualified to actually utilize things to help ourselves are over. That's how I feel. I feel like that's why my level 2 class, my Reiki level 2 class, is going to be on Zoom next week, because it's time. It is time for this information to be spread widely, and for people to be able to help themselves with it. And like I said, if you caught me 6 months ago, I would have thought different. I would have thought, that it's just not possible to teach Reiki over Zoom, or it's not possible for people to responsibly use symbols without being trained in the system of Reiki. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. A lot of people get tripped up with the symbols, because in the level 2 class we sit there and get pen to paper and we practice. They trace the symbols, they draw the symbols over and over and over again. And if you're not an artist, or you don't really identify with like drawing the kinesthetic aspect, and you don't kinesthetically connect with these symbols, that's okay. If you're a word person like I am, you can just say them. It's taught that you just draw them in the air and you bang them in 3 times. So you go, draw Choku-rei, and then you say Choku-rei, 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 and you empower that symbol. And wow, I can just feel the energy doing that. Because it's practiced, it's rehearsed. I've done that so many times. I can feel the energy when I do that. And you can too. You just, where do you start? You start at the beginning. You start right now, and you start building the relationship with it. And you never know where it's going to take you. It's like so amazing to not be attached to the outcome, because you never know where that relationship is going to take you. And it could just pop up in your head to say, use me at any particular time. So that's what I'm thinking about the symbols. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're a purist and you do think that the symbols need to be learned within the context of a Reiki class, I understand. I get it. I totally had that mindset at one point, and now I changed my mind, and that's not better or worse than your opinion. It just is. And I just love the fact that almost anything can be a symbol. Because where did this symbol come from, right? Choku-rei, Seiheki, Hansha, Seishonen, and the other 4 Reiki symbols. Let me think. It's the Usui Daikomyu, the Tibetan Daikomyu, the Tibetan Fire Serpent. So the other 3 Reiki symbols, the Master and the Master Teacher symbols, they all have meaning because we have a personal relationship with the meaning. Just like runes, I don't read runes. I know some healers in the Rhode Island community do read runes, but same for that. There's runes, and those are symbols, and they're on these little pieces of wood, or it can be carved into anything, stone, whatever, and you throw the runes, and it's like a divination. It's like a card reading, and you read the symbols. You can attach meaning to anything, and it's meant to inspire you, and it's meant to take you over the bridge from ordinary reality to non-ordinary reality, just like spirituality and religion. Both of those two are other vehicles to be able to inspire, give faith, and just set your heart, make your heart a little bit lighter, and also just make you feel like you're not alone. Reiki energy sometimes it's so comforting to me, because I feel like I'm never really truly alone, even when I'm solitary in a room. It always feels like there's something there with me. And the last thing I guess I wanted to say was about the level 2 class. That's going to happen next weekend. It's 10 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. That's $150. If you need a payment plan, hit me up. Basically, it's 12 hours, 6 hours a day, with an hour for lunch, where we practice distance healings with the other students in the class. You learn about the symbols, the 3 symbols that I just showed you today. You learn about the meanings, you learn about the history, you learn about how to use them, both in a session and outside of a session in your daily life. There is another thing that you learn. It's called the emotional addictive release. And that's going to be really fun, because I've never actually taught that at a distance, but it's obviously possible, because energy is energy. It's not defined by time or space. So we're able to work with it at a distance. So I really look forward to that unfolding, how it needs to unfold. And, how I feel about Reiki classes is that, yeah, you do learn a skill, but I do feel like Reiki classes are a huge opportunity for personal healing and just personal awareness. And, I think it's a bonus that you develop your capacity to feel energy and experience energy and be with energy. That's like a lovely side product, and usually that's people's main MO why they want to take a Reiki class. But I almost feel like front and center the objective of taking a Reiki class is for deep personal healing. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. And oh, Mark said something. Hi, Mark. Mark Z. As a fellow Reiki healer and as a magical practitioner, I thank you for delivering the truth of charged, empowered symbols and their availability for utilization by anyone. Awesome. So we have a like-minded thinker here. I really appreciate your opinion and putting your opinion here. And yeah, I just think that this should be available for anyone. So I hope this was an interesting and helpful video for you. And I will be doing a few more lives. I'm not really sure, probably like the last minute. I'll decide when I want to do that, but there are some skills, Reiki skills, that I've identified that people, when I had my Reiki review classes, people were sort of struggling with them, whether it was just because they didn't feel confident doing them or what have you. So I want to pull out those elements and I want to talk about them on Facebook Lives. So yeah, one of which is creating a personal altar. You do not have to identify as a witch to have an altar. Even though I have been known to dabble in witchcraft, I don't regularly have a regular practice. But I do have an altar that I go to a lot, and it has gotten me through a lot of the tumultuous times that we're all kind of experiencing right now as a collective humanity with the coronavirus and with a crisis in just race relations and everything related to like power and related to just so many things. I mean, I should probably do a live on that too, but I'm sure that all of us who have been doing the work, we have collective and individual insights into what this coronavirus, the pandemic, and also, everything that's going on with race in our country and what that means, both collectively and for our own selves. But yeah, that's one of the main things. When I sit at my altar, I really need to not try to figure it out from my logical mind. I need to not transcend, but I need to make the leap from ordinary reality to non-ordinary reality, because I feel like when my mind can go offline and I can join forces with the energy that is surging through everything, things just start to make more sense. The energy to me, it feels gentle. Not always, but sometimes it feels gentle and it feels supportive and it feels safe. And, if I've been having a torrent of violent thoughts toward myself or anything else, when my mind is like a hurricane or a cyclone, I know that I can go to my altar and I can feel calm and safe and grounded. And I can also ask for guidance. And I can be guided to do things at my altar, like placing certain crystals, placing certain statues, lighting candles, smelling different smells like incense, Palo Santo, frankincense and myrrh, sage. And I can have my senses sort of get lots of information, and I can feel really I don't know, I feel like it's a marriage of the energetic world and this physical world, because I have energy present, but I'm also engaging with my senses of smell, sight, and just kinesthetically, I'm like touching the crystals and I'm moving them about in some sort of ritual that seems to be different every single time I come to my altar, and it's always perfect. And sometimes I write and journal. It's always a different experience. So that is something that I would really love to talk about in my next live, about having an altar. And like I said, you don't need to be a witch. A lot of people think, oh yeah, you have an altar because you're a witch. No, you have a space that's sacred to you. A lot of people have that are very religious, like Catholic, Christian, they have a shrine, you know. People that are First Nation, Native American, they have an altar for all their relations, all of their generations and their family. If you're of Asian descent, people have a shrine for their family. They also have deities that they leave certain offerings for, like deities that represent abundance. They'll leave tangerines or fruit or something that looks gold, and they'll pay homage to those deities. So there's a lot of ways in order to, have that relationship and with something that seems like more than us. And I think that seems very comforting, because it's very stressful to feel like we have to do it all on our own. And we need all the help we can get. Hence symbols, hence altars, anything. All the tools right now. So, all right, I want to thank you for tuning in. Oh, Leslie, hey, how's it going? Thanks. Great video, she says. Awesome. And I want to see videos from you guys, Mark and Leslie. I would love to hear like your thoughts on pretty much anything. I just love how I want to hear how people are getting through these days, and I want to hear, I'm sure people are processing things like crazy right now and are coming out with some pretty amazing insights. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.